Hey guys, this is your next fun video. It's SPI 1.1 Cell Organelles. Your first term is an organelle, and its job is to the definition for this word is that organelles are specialized structures in a cell that help the cell function. Everything we're about to talk about is an example of an organelle. Our first organelle that we're going to talk about is a cell membrane. All of these next probably 7 or 8 organelles are only found in, are found in both plant and animal cells. I'll tell you when we get to the end of that. The cell membrane's job, or what it is a thin skin, and it's semi-permeable. And semi means half or some, and permeable means pass through. So the cell membrane controls what goes in and out of the cell. It controls what stuff it allows in and what stuff it allows out. Only some things can go both ways. See, semi is half, permeable, pass through. Nucleus. The nucleus is the control center. It contains DNA for the cell, and it directs all of the cell's activities. This is a nucleus, and you can see that it's pulling this out to show you a bigger picture. This part's the nucleus. Nuclear membrane. I just sort of threw this term in as a bonus word. It's a thin layer that surrounds the nucleus. It's sometimes called the nuclear envelope, which is what it's called here. It's just the skin of the outside of the nucleus. The Nucleolus is found inside the nucleus, and its job is to make ribosomes. So this, let me get a different color. This is the nucleolus. This is the nucleus. Cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is the jello-like goo that holds organelles in place. So pretty much it's all of the background of the cell and all the light blue stuff. And the organelles sit in there and are held in place by that. Your next term is ribosomes. Ribosomes' job is to make proteins. Okay? They are found in 2 places. Freestanding around a cell, like little dots, or, as in this picture, the dots on the rough ER, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. Also, a good way to help you remember what a ribosome is if you look at how you spell it, ribosome. If you like ribs, ribs have meat on them, right? So if you eat a rack of ribs, you're eating meat. Well, meat makes protein. It's what gives our body protein. So ribosomes make protein. The endoplasmic reticulum, which is also called the ER, you can abbreviate. Its job is to make lipids. It breaks down harmful substances. It transports lipids and proteins to the Golgi Apparatus. Got a lot of extra to say about this. There is only one of these in the whole cell. It shows up wrapped around the nucleus. The ER does. If you want to think about it like this, the ER stands for, when you think about a hospital, the emergency room, right? So you've got your ER, and it wraps around the most important thing in the cell, which is the nucleus, because that's the control center. And it protects the nucleus, basically, and it sends stuff to and from the nucleus. Another thing to help you think about is that it ships stuff to the Golgi apparatus, and that's inside the cell. So it does its shipping inside the cell. Inside, the word in is 2 letters, ER is 2 letters. So hopefully that'll help you remember that. Rough and smooth. There are 2 parts to the ER. You can see this part here shows you the rough, like we just looked at. Those little dots are the ribosomes. And then there's smooth connected to it right here. And that's just another part of it. The next term is Golgi Apparatus. Golgi Apparatus is like the post office. It modifies and repackages things and sends these materials in and out of the cell. The way to tell the difference between the Golgi apparatus or the Golgi body, either term, as long as you recognize Golgi, it's the same thing. Sometimes it's called the Golgi complex, is that there are more than one Golgi apparatus in a cell. There is only one ER, but there is always more than one Golgi apparatus. When you go to the post office, you are shipping something or receiving something, right? That's why the Golgi apparatus is called the post office, because it's sending materials in and out of the cell. Your next term is mitochondria. A mitochondria is called the powerhouse of the cell. It provides energy for the cell by breaking down food and turning it into ATP. ATP is just a fancy word for energy. A mitochondria looks like a jelly bean, and then it has these squiggles in there. And if you use your imagination, you can see the M in the squiggles, and M stands for mitochondria. The mitochondria, there's a bunch of them in a cell. All these yellow things are mitochondria. Okay, this one is just cut in half so you can see it, and this is the jelly bean looking version. Alright, every word prior to this one was in both plant and animals. This one is found in animal cells only. It contains digestive enzymes that get rid of waste and worn out organelles. It's these little purple things throughout the cell. Helps clean it up. So sometimes it's called the cleanup crew. Our next term is vacuoles. Vacuoles are also only found in animal cells. They are a storage place for water and nutrients. They're blue here because they contain water. Remember, only found in animal cells. The centrioles. Centrioles only show up in cell division. Cell division is also called mitosis, and we will talk about that later in the year in like 4 or 5 weeks. They work in pairs to pull the cell apart. You can see them here. There's 2 here, and there's 2 here, so there's 2 pairs. Sometimes they look like this, and sometimes they look like this, which is this part here. They look like licorice. And only found in animal cells. And after they move to the poles of the cell, they help to pull the cell apart. All right, now the next 3 terms we're going to do are found in plant cells only. The first is the cell wall. It's the rigid structure that supports and protects the cell. It's found on the outside of the cell membrane. Next, you have your large central vacuoles. Remember, we just talked about vacuoles that were just found in animal cells. The difference is in animal cells, there's a bunch of little ones. In a plant cell, there's only one big one. One big one. Also only found in plant cells. And I didn't point this out in the last picture with the cell wall, but this is a good picture of it because this is the cell wall right here, this outside layer, and then the cell membrane is the inside layer. Chloroplast. Chloroplast is also only found in plant cells. Chloroplast converts sunlight energy into usable chemical energy. Usable chemical energy is also ATP. And chloroplasts look like jelly beans also, but when you cut them open, they are stacked with all these little circles or buttons. And there's also a ton of these in a cell. So the mitochondria, that is only found in animal cells, or no, excuse me, the mitochondria is found in both plant and animal cells. The chloroplast is found only in plant cells because the plant has to take in the sunlight, and that starts the process of converting the energy. And I'm pretty sure that's your last term. So rewind this, go back, see anything that you missed. If I wrote it down, you should write it down. Also, I think I forgot to tell you in the very beginning, you should have drawn an example of each of these pictures. If you didn't, go back and draw a picture so you know what they look like.